Matthew's here with the Business Bulletin. The government here in France trying that difficult balancing act, aren't they? Austerity and growth.
That's right. France already saying that, well, it's not going to hit a deficit target of 3% this year. It's more likely to be 3.7% now. It's not even by the end of President François Hollande's term going to balance the budget as he had hoped to do, more like a deficit of 0.7% this year. And as you say, Stuart, France really trying here to balance both getting austerity, cutting spending, 20 billion euros of savings planned for next year, but also trying to make sure there's enough growth in the economy so that they can hit those targets.
What's the latest on the markets then?
Yeah, let's take a look at the Asian markets. They have been mostly in the red so far in this trading session. Just the Hang Seng there managing to make some small gains, but Asian markets mostly taking their cue from Wall Street, where caution was in play on Wednesday, in particular the Nasdaq there dropping down by 2%.
Now, you've also been keeping an eye on the value of rather an unusual currency.
Yes, now you might not have heard of the Bitcoin, but it's gaining in popularity. It's been around since 2009, but it's a virtual currency. It's not backed like most currencies by a central bank or a government, but it's gaining in popularity, but not without controversy. William Hildebrandt has more.
At Evergastro Lounge in Manhattan, it's not only the fashion that's trendy, but the money. Customers can pay for a round using Bitcoin, a new virtual currency.
It's only been about a week so far, but we've had over a dozen customers use it already. And I'm sure as word's getting more and more out there, more and more people will come. And now that they finally have a place in the real world to spend them.
Bitcoin is not the first digital currency. Second Life users have Linden dollars, and Facebook sells credits, though Bitcoin is different because it's not administered by a single authority.
I think that that's part of why people are finding Bitcoin attractive, that it's really the first widespread, completely anonymous form of digital currency.
Critics argue that anonymity is ideal for people who buy illegal drugs and fake IDs on online black markets such as the Silk Road, though supporters say that trend is changing and the Bitcoin could revolutionize e-commerce.
About 2 years ago, they did a study, and I think it was like over 60% of all Bitcoin transactions were Silk Road. Now it's way under 15%.
In the past week alone, the value of one Bitcoin fluctuated between $50 and $266, raising the question if Bitcoins are less of a currency and more of a commodity like gold. And beyond the concerns of volatility, the project is set up to produce a finite amount of units, giving incentive to owners to hoard rather than spend.
Well, William Hildebrandt reporting there, Stuart, and he mentioned in that report that the price has been fluctuating quite a lot. It's been up as high as $200 for a Bitcoin, and you can see the very, very jaggedy graph there. Been as low as $50. It's now trading at around $92, but clearly very volatile market, but a very interesting one as well.
Okay, a couple of other business news stories for you now. And India is soon going to start building the Mini. BMW, which owns the car brand, said its Chennai factory will start production later this year. Now, Mini's currently built at plants in the UK and Austria. BMW already builds several of its other car models at the same plant.
But jobs likely to go at an Opel factory in Germany. General Motors, which owns Opel's closing the Bochum plant by the end of next year. Now, 3,200 jobs are at risk. The company had offered to keep the plant open in exchange for a wage freeze, but unions rejected that proposal. Well, so likely jobs there at that car plant, General Motors in Germany. But other German car workers are increasingly asking for higher wages, and that's down to the success of some major car makers like Volkswagen. Well, France 24's correspondent in Germany has been to the home of Volkswagen in Wolfsburg, and she sent us this report.
Employees will be in the money this April in Wolfsburg, the hometown of Volkswagen. It's nearly time for their annual bonuses. Each employee will get 7,200 euros. Workers are eager to receive this, but are also demanding an increase in wage, even if their employer claims that 2013 is proving to be a tougher year.
I think we deserve the bonus, and despite everything, we should still be entitled to a wage increase.
Before the salary negotiations, you always hear that the outlook is bad. That's nothing new.
The bonus, originally created to compensate for the stagnation of wages in the industry, is now an annual highlight for the workers, but it is also an opportunity for employers to warn against excessive wage demands.
The profit sharing and the usual wage negotiations are two different things at Volkswagen. And of course, both have to do with money for the employees, but each case is assessed differently.
Yet this year, bonuses are giving trade unionists a new impetus. Continental, which announced a record turnover in 2012, paid €100 million back to its employees, or €900 per person. This bonus, unprecedented in the history of the company, did little to quell the argument. Quite the contrary.
The bonus is proof to us that the company is doing well. We're getting a record bonus because Continental set a new record. It's a good prerequisite for salary negotiations, a good bargaining tool that strengthens our argument.
Unions are determined to get the increase of 5.5% this year. The first walkouts are expected to begin in early May.
Business sport for you now. Real Madrid, officially the most valuable football club in the world.
Yeah, now this is Forbes that tots up the value of football clubs, and since they've been doing it in 2004, it's been Manchester United that's been the most valuable club, but Real Madrid has now knocked them off that top spot. You can see they're worth €2.5 billion, they think. Barcelona, they're in the number 3 spot. In fact, it's clubs from England and Spain that dominate the top 10. Germany and Italy also getting a look in. Revenue really just comes from things like TV rights, ticket sales, merchandise as well.
Matthew, thank you very much. That's Matthew with the business here on France 24. Just to remind you of the latest news headline that we've got coming into us. There's been a massive explosion at a fertiliser plant at Waco in Texas. Firefighters there have been battling the blaze, with some reports from US media saying up to 70 people may have been killed in that explosion. We will, of course, continue to keep you updated with that. Catherine Nicholson will have the very latest after the weather here on France 24.